Thank you so much for being with us here on the second edition of the Citizen Assembly. In just a few moments, we're going to be speaking to somebody who went through pain and agony that was absolutely unnecessary. We'll be getting her story shortly, but for now, I'd like to paint the context of why we're here today. So allow me a few minutes to set the tone. The plight of Kenyan youth remains uncertain. The wave of the deaths of dozens of young people as law enforcement officers crack down on protests countrywide have left the citizen broken and divided. Extrajudicial executions continue unabated. Shooting of unarmed young peaceful protesters is the new norm during youth-led protests. From deaths resulting from torture and police brutality on the streets to enforced disappearances and police abductions, the rule of law has been dealt a major blow by an arbitrarian and authoritarian regime that has managed to weaponize the police and officers from the Kenya Defense Forces against its own citizens, eroding any trust that locals had in the security agencies to maintain law and order. Whereas the right to picket remains enshrined in Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution, there are concerns over how security forces respond to demonstrations led by Gen Z and millennials. News about a section of the opposition politicians going to bed with the ruling coalition has sent mixed reactions in a country polarized along tribe, ethnicity, race, religion, and social class. As national and county leaders spend time on politics, the Kenyan youth feel largely ignored and undermined on issues public interest and legislation. The Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo has, on the other hand, waged a steadfast justice quest for the victims of police brutality. LSK, in conjunction with Amnesty International, Independent Medical Legal Unit, Defenders Coalition, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, International Commission of Jurists, Haki Africa, and other human rights defenders have consistently been the first responders to citizens in distress. The youthful activists gradually feel accepted and accommodated by such groups and accommodations and organizations. Now, a number of the young people who keep demonstrating every Tuesday and Thursday have been captured by both local and international media, crying out for a listening ear. Most of the protesters vent their anger and frustration over a regime that has remained tone deaf. Yet, the protesters need a listening and empathetic platform with ability to convert their frustrations encapsulated in their non-negotiables to pragmatic and implementable solutions. The first steps of finding solutions must be directly derived from direct engagement with the relevant parties across the country. The need to seek justice for all victims remains paramount, and the first step towards peace is first justice for all victims and affected persons. And to realize any meaningful change, the youth must be given a platform to talk and be allowed to vent and be listened to. Now, Citizen Assembly seeks to act as a bridge towards a better, safe, and peaceful Kenya. So welcome to this edition. I'm Janet Mbugua, and today we convene amidst profound sorrow and righteous anger as our city streets, once symbols of democracy, have turned into battlegrounds where many protesters have been met with hostility and even death. Our government has failed us, resorting to political maneuvers instead of genuine leadership, with inept ministers leaving our nation adrift. Yet, we refuse to be silenced. We're here to uphold the dream of a just society through civic education, public participation in policy making, and holding our leaders accountable. We also pledge to report and remember those who are missing, abducted, or injured. Our unity, voices, and actions will reclaim our nation. And today we will hear from survivors, human rights defenders, citizen journalists, and more. We encourage you to continue to share this conversation online and engage with us. And this can be across the Citizen Assembly platforms, on YouTube and other platforms. So make sure you're also using the hashtag Citizen Assembly and continue to share your own thoughts on all the happenings unfolding in our country. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're joined by somebody who had to see firsthand loss and death. This is Mama Rex, and we're going to have a short conversation with her just to walk us through what it really means when we say that we need fairness and justice on our streets. Mama Rex, asante sana kwa kuwa nasi.
Asante.
Tuanze na kukuuliza, tuelezee vile unasikia.
Okay, kwa sasa sijakubali kama ukweli. Huyo ni mtoto wangu aliuliwa kwa street akiwa bila kosa lolote. Na kuwa serikali haijachukua hatua yoyote hata kumshika ule mwenye ambaye alimpiga hiyo risasi. Nina huzuni bado moyoni.
Pole sana.
Asante.
Asante pia kwa kutuongelesha juu ni muhimu tusikie juu watu wengi wanaongea juu ya extrajudicial killings. Tumeona watu wengi wamekufa. Kabla tuongee kuhusu hiyo support unapata. Tell us a bit about Rex. Rex alikuwa, what was he like as a boy?
Rex ni mtoto ambaye nimemlea kwa njia ya tuseme ya wokovu. Rex ni mtu ambaye alikuwa kijana mpole sana. Kwa wale ambao walimjua wanaweza sema Rex alikuwa mtu mzuri, alikuwa mtoto mtiifu. Hakuwa na ile tunaweza sema ana uchokozi wowote. Ni mtu alikaa na watu vizuri, na hata hiyo jambo imenifanya nikafurahi kwa roho kiasi kwa ile upendo nilionyeshwa na wananchi wakati wa kifo chake. Hakuwahi gombana na mtu yoyote, na angekukosea angekuja straight akwambia, sitaki kukubeba rohoni, umenikosea hivi na hivi, akuombe msamaha kama ni amekukosea. Sijaisikia jambo mbaya na Rex, na hajai kuwa ati ameshikwa wakati wote ati na mkono wa serikali ati ana makosa yoyote. So hiyo ya risasi ilinishtua sana.
Haku deserve, na hata watu ambao wamekuwa affected ni kitu mbaya sana. Tunakuongelesha juu we ni mom, umekuwa part of this movement sana. Hiyo siku Rex alienda kwa maandamano. Tuelezee kama mlikuwa umeongea, na kama mlikuwa umeongea alikuwa amesemaje?
Okay, Rex hatukuwa tumeongea juu kwa umri wake alikuwa ashatoka kwangu tayari. Ni mtu anajikalisha, ana kazi yake. So tulikuwa tumeongea like 3 days ago. Akatuambia, mam, kuna kitu napata, nataka nikubustie biashara yako, naona iko chini. So alikuwa na ile roho akikuja pale dukani kwangu, mami, hii duka ikai poa, nataka kufanyia kitu atakani kidogo. So hiyo Thursday rafiki yake nilipokea simu ile yake. So nilikuwa tu najua huyu ni mtoto wangu. Nikamwambia, sema Rex. Sauti nilipokea pale, mam si Rex, mam si Rex. Nikamuuliza ni nani? Mam ni George. Ni nini mbaya? Mam ni Rex. Nikamwambia, hapana, hebu niambie kuna nini? Ni mgonjwa? Ati hapana mam, si mgonjwa. Na mbona sauti yako iko mbaya hivyo? Mam, sijui venye nitaanza kuelezea, but mam si kuzuri. Nikamuuliza kuna shida gani? Rex ameshuti